to the end zone. Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one!
He got it!
Another one! Huge hole! He's at the 30! He's gonna go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Works down by Burke. Bounces into Cody. Puts it up. Scores!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
And welcome in to this Friday edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Always a pleasure to be with you. Charlie Miller will be joining us soon. Also, Alec Lasley from thehoosier.com will catch you up on all things recruiting, which I know you love. Joe Smith will join us. It's going to be great to see the pair of Joe Smith and Charlie Miller getting together. But it's been a minute since those guys spoke. But let us know what's happening. Hit us up on whether you're on YouTube. Follow us there. You can comment there or on the Andy Moore Honda hotline, 812-269-6367. Welcome in. Let us know what you got going this weekend. It's like the last lull, I think, before things kind of start storming back. We've got basketball coming up, well, next week, next Wednesday, as a matter of fact. Brownsburg, the junior-senior all-star game, is next Wednesday. It's here. It's upon us. And then that means the following weekend, you'll have the back-and-forth series between Indiana and Kentucky, which sadly to say, this year is being played in Owensboro. No, Henderson. Well, same thing. Yeah, Owensboro. No, it's not the same thing, but I think it's in Owensboro. I'll have to look. But anyway, Indiana's game is in Southport, which is still a great gym, but it's a gym. Man, these things both used to be played in Market Square Arena, Freedom Hall, packed. And yeah, yesterday, all that stuff. I know people say blah, blah, but man, it's a combination of a lot of things. There's so many different things to do now. COVID really, when Indiana moves theirs, that's a lot. I mean, but it'll be a little more intimate that way. Indiana's will always be great because at Southport, with that thing holds like 7,000 anyway. So it'll be fun regardless. What do you have going on for the weekend? Finally, the rain's out. I think it's going to be nice. I haven't even looked. I've been too busy, but I guess we might as well do that. All I know is I'll open it up right now on my phone, and I see nothing but a sunshine. That is something I haven't seen in a minute. But so yeah, Saturday today, 86 degrees and nothing but sun. Same tomorrow. A little mix on Sunday, but I'm good with that. So a nice weekend coming. What do you got planned? What are you doing? If you're not following us on YouTube, you should be. Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Just go there and sign up. Dwayne says, good morning, everybody. He is down in Evansville, as is Jennifer. Excited for Joe Smith. She loves, and is with good reason. I'm excited to have Joe on with Charlie because they don't know that the other's on. Of course, they know each other from the IU days. How about the Reds beating the Cardinals, baby? It's not very often I get the Reds have just been so up and down. It's just been ridiculous this year. But they got a win over the Cardinals yesterday, 4-2. I don't know if they can keep that going. They've disappointed me, man, but that's kind of the standard, right? How about Kevin Brockway's Mets leading the East? Just in front of the Braves, man. Is that going to be a race? That would be cool. Usually don't have one. But over in the Central, the Cubbies are in front. A game and a half in front of the Cardinals, which Cincinnati stuck one to them yesterday. But Cincinnati is they're 6 games back. And they're only 4 games over 500, or under 500. So it could be worse. Need to get on a run. But as you look over their last 10, 5-5. Look down here, the Padres, the Dodgers, the Rockies, 5-5 in their division. That's mediocrity. And those teams, they're all sitting in the middle of their division. Got to move up or down, man. Up or down, but guess we'll have to look at baseball later on when we've got less to do. Basketball's coming on, like I said. A big change in the NCAA. Looking forward to talking to the guys about that today. In fact that the support staff can now participate, and it's been a big deal because people have gotten all these stupid rule changes that the NCAA changes now are things that people have gotten in trouble for. But now your support staff, your director of recruiting, your whatever, even down to Thad Matta, can now potentially be involved in practice during a certain period. That was not the case before. Wedding Crashers 2 to start filming in August. That's worth a breaking. Oh, man. Hate to say that was one of my favorites, but that was a funny one. Nice little tidbit of information. I've got a great tidbit of information that I found yesterday involving Riverfront Stadium. I'm going to hold off on that till we got the rest of the guys on here. I was trying to get Gary Reedus on. Was chatting with him on Twitter last night. A former Red. He's into coaching now. Had to work on getting him on. What do you have planned for the weekend? It is a beautiful one. Like I said, it's kind of the last one. Well, I say without sports, but that doesn't mean we're without sports. It's all right. Man, we may end up getting may get Gary Reedus on today. It's crazy how things go when you're live. Should wait till a break to send that out, right? But we'll work on getting him on. That would be cool. Former Major League player. Started with the Reds in, I think it was 82, made his debut. But it's a nice weekend coming up, like I said. What are you getting out to do? It's kind of, in the sports world, it's quiet. It's quiet right now, except if you're a coach, you're on the road. These guys are gone on the road recruiting. And, man, you talk about all over the country. These guys have not been able to get out and do this. And they are everywhere. Indiana, like football especially, you've got so many coaches that they can get out and get gone. And that's exactly what they're doing, as you have to. And for a team like Indiana football, this is when they have to do that. Because their momentum that they have gained has come during COVID. And it's not, I'm not going to say it's not had an impact on what they've done on Indiana, but the COVID has certainly dampened what Indiana's done. They've got to get these guys on campus. Not that because the facilities are great, because they're not. Let's be honest, Indiana's football facilities are lacking. And that may sound surprising to a lot of people, but when I say football facilities, I'm not just talking about how you see a picture of Memorial Stadium. Yeah, that's nice and all, but that's one of the smallest stadiums in the Big Ten, first of all. And it only looks nice because they enclose the ends with no seats in most of those. But facilities. Indiana shares its weight room with the rest of the entire athletic program. Ridiculous. That Fred Glass crap of one universe, all 2014 bull crap. It doesn't work when it comes to working out. That's great PR stuff, but that's more lawyer speak. They need their own facility. They need the indoor facility is probably needs to be. I don't understand why they don't just put a fresh coat of paint in there. I'll be honest with you. Brighten that thing up, make it look nicer, revamp it, make it look good. You could do a lot with what's there. But facilities matter now. Trust me. You should see some of the Purdue. I've been up there. Nebraska, the Big Ten money. Don't get him back started on that, Michael McRobbie. But it matters. And Indiana's going to have to catch up recruiting-wise. They are getting guys that transfer and all that, and their recruits are better. But they're relying more on player development right now. Transfers are great, but they're not getting the elite talent in great numbers as freshmen. That'll come. This COVID thing, like I said, the momentum has been dampened. This next recruiting class of great importance. It will show what Indiana has been able to do, what strides they've made. It will show what strides they've made, because if you don't have a bump in this, then shows you just haven't. It hasn't translated, and let's hope that's not the case. We've got NCAA baseball. You've got Indiana high school track still going on. And so plenty to do. LeBron James. Is LeBron LaDone? We'll talk about that later, man. That's just kind of funny. Puts together his super team. It just didn't kind of work out. Coach K, we got to talk a little bit more about that. And here's the thing I want to talk about it with when Charlie comes on and whomever, or comments. Coach K, not just him, Bill Self, all these guys. Well, Coach K knows it's time to go, but why is that now? I mean, I know he's up there. He's been there 40 years, but I think it has a lot to do with the Adidas FBI thing that transferred over to Nike. The player gravy train kind of ended. How long did some of these coaches benefit from things like Adidas and Nike? And the reason I ask that question is that then how great are they? Why are they not adjusted on where they should be? Because they were greatly enhanced where a lot of these people were not. And I'm not, God, I hate doing this, but like Bob Knight, for example, he did not cheat. You know that for a fact. We'll talk about all that, plenty more. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat. We're coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Back right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Hey, Hoosier fans, whether you're looking... How was that?
The transition, well, I mean, you said the sponsors that you didn't need to say, but, I mean, it's fine.
We might have Gary email.
When do you plan on having him if he's available?
Buddy, let's take one step at a time.
Well, you said you had his email. That's why I asked.
Oh, no, I don't. I'm telling him. I'm typing.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking out loud. No. Oh, here's the funny thing is. I got all jacked up last night thinking it was Gary Reedus, the former Major League Baseball player.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not. I quickly realized. It is, but he's a coach, a women's coach.
Oh.
at SMU.
That's interesting.
Well, but the funny thing is, once I realized that, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. That'll make a funny story.
Yeah, that's true.
And Charlie lives in Dallas. So,
yeah.
Worst case is I'm going to introduce those guys.
Nope, Jim, I can't hear you no more. I can't hear you at all unless you're messing with us.
Oh,
He
okay.
probably is.
There you go.
I was just fucking with him, man.
It scared me because I'm like, we come back from break in a minute. I don't want this to screw anything up.
What up? Like he was just messing around. How's it going?
The big change in the support staff. I guess that's something we got to talk about with you. What else?
Yes.
What else?
Jalen Hood, Shafino has his official lock-in. That was, I think, 2 days ago.
How you say his last name for sure?
Hood, Shafino.
Just want to make sure that it wasn't Shifino.
I believe
because if he lived in the South, it would be Shifino. Mr. Hood, Shifino, would you come here, please?
All right, I'm bringing us back.
Place in Broad Ripple has wings, tender steaks, and seafood. Sam's Ale House in Carmel and on 86th Street in Indy have a long list of craft beers and all of the right foods to go with. Plan a day on the links at Eagle Point in Bloomington, then stay for dinner at Sam's Clubhouse. Sam's Restaurants, professionals in the art of food and drink.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Here's Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Friday. That's always a great thing to say. Alec Lasley from thehoosier.com joining us as always. How is it going?
It's going well. How are you doing, Jim?
I cannot complain. It's Friday, so that's a great thing. A lot of news in college sports. Well, one big piece of news: the support staff change rule, which it's kind of funny. Every rule that the NCAA makes or changes now is a rule that it should have been changed 20 to 30 years ago. That has cost so many people, so many things along the way. And then, I mean, it's the same with the SEC. The SEC voted to allow interconference immediate eligibility transfers. You don't have a choice. These people want to act like they're heroes. The SEC. Oh, because what was the statement? I wanted to read that. Dang, I can't read my. This is an important passage to further support the student athletes of the SEC. Bull crap. If it was, you'd have done it before you were forced to do it. You don't have a choice to do it now because that rule is thumped. It just cracks me up. And the NCAA is the same way. They're changing these rules that should have been changed long ago. How many schools have gotten in trouble for a video coordinator working with a kid on a court? I've seen it. How many times have you seen it?
Yeah, no, it's happened a lot. And the fact that it took basically a global pandemic for them to change the rule or at least make some sort of changes because it's not set in stone that this is going to happen every single year. It's just for this summer. Due to the fact that all the assistants are going to have to be out on the road actually watching these prospects since they haven't been able
I didn't realize that.
See any. Yeah, it's all changed. It not as of now. They're basically doing it to. Yeah, so they're basically doing it to obviously adhere to losing the last year and a half of actual live in-person scouting, and because the assistants now have even a more important job in the next 2.5 months here before the summer ends to really see exactly what prospects they're actually going to be looking at, which ones they're going to be offering, because you don't want to fall behind again and lose basically another summer of scouting. So between that and then having kids on campus starting workouts June 10th for Indiana, the NCAA needed to adjust something. I don't know why they haven't done this before. I don't know why they're not going to make this a surefire thing moving forward, but it's something that there's no harm in it. It makes no sense why this just happened now. But here we are again, looking at what the NCAA is doing and doubting them as an entire organization.
You just said the word sense and NCAA in the same sentence, and that
doesn't go well.
No, and the fact that they are looking at just doing it now, it's like every single thing they do, it is with one arm twisted behind their back and the other one, they've got their head, someone's got their head by the hair, shoving them down into something. It is really ridiculous. But how much can you blame the NCAA? It is run by the schools. The universities run this. So the presidents, and that's another issue. Presidents should have nothing to do with running college athletics. You hire an AD that is paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's a CEO. Let him run the damn thing and let people who know about that side of things do that. Why in the crap should people like McRobbie have any say in college athletics? He wouldn't know an athletic event from a you know what? I mean, and that is why college athletics is like it is. You have they continue. It's the all-time good old boy system. They continue to put the people in charge that are not going to make the right decisions, that are not even in the position of making the right decisions. Again, McRobbie, those types, what the hell do they know? Nothing. ADs are athletics directors. That's what their job is. So there's my rant for the day. But you got to put this onus on the schools. You know what? I beat on Muppet Mark Emmert because he's a moron. He's not a moron, really. He's making millions of dollars from these idiots, these Muppets that run these schools. Those are the real Muppets, if you want me to be honest with you. So there's that little rant.
Yeah, Mark's not doing himself any favors, though. Just waiting back and sitting back on his heels. I mean, I think the NCAA as a whole just has to – yeah, but the NCAA just as a whole has to make some changes to the way that they run things, which they won't because they're all about obviously making money, and they're doing that at a high rate, so why change it? But at the same time, you know, there just needs to be some sort of changes to actually – make it look like they're looking out for the quote unquote student athletes, which at this point, you know, you can throw in the word student in front of there, but for the most part, it's run like a minor league system, and it's getting more and more like that. So it's just something that the NCAA has to change, but they're not going to, unfortunately. But hopefully, with this new rule change, it's here to stay. I hope. Because it's something that should have been changed multiple years ago. It just makes absolutely no sense not to have moving forward.
Well, this is the same thing as the rule that was in place for phone calls and text messages and all that crap that got changed when Kelvin Sampson got Indiana buried. Now, I'm not saying that Kelvin Sampson didn't he broke those stupid rules. He had broken those same rules before. That was the idiocy of it. You want to talk about petty. That was pretty petty. That's as petty as it gets. You're not giving somebody a bag of cash. And look at Louisville. Look at Duke. We know that Zion's family, all these people have benefited. Look at these guys at Kansas. None of them will have to deal with that crap that decimated Indiana's program. And it just continues to show the hypocrisy. And if you're Indiana back then, they sat back and just took it because they were trying to be the nice guy and all. No, that's another thing. When the NCAA does come at you, you got to swing at them with a Louisville Slugger trying to take their head off. You have to go at them. And that's the only thing that works. Rick Pitino said it best when Louisville got in trouble a couple years ago and they self-imposed that ban. He was so against that. He said, you have to fight that. Not because they were right, but he knows the NCAA is inept. And that's why North Carolina was able to cheat for all those years with that academic fraud, and not a damn thing happened to them. That is your NCAA. Well, this conversation took a turn, didn't
it? that's just the way that the NCAA is running things. They're not going to change it. Mark Emmert's not going to change what he's doing, unfortunately. But like we said, there needs to be some sort of change, just because every year they come out with some sort of allegations against the program and nothing ever follows suit, or takes 7, 8, 9, 10 years for anything to actually come out from it.
How is Wade White? How is he still coaching at LSU? How's he? In what world does that guy have a job? Sean Miller.
Well, especially when it's not just the NCAA, it's the FBI that's actually looking into the program, and they still have jobs, and people just kind of brush it under the rug with the NCAA. So it's crazy. Nothing's going to change, but it's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, LSU is one of those schools they don't care. We know what happens down there. I mean, you see the stuff that came out about Les Miles not too long ago, where they knew and just said, "Oh no, we're going to roll on with this because it's all about winning." But they'll win at all costs is their mantra, and it works because nothing happens to them. They won a national championship with that football program. How much cheating was going on? How much they're already being investigated, and it won't matter. They don't care, because in their mind, they got that year. They made the money off of that, from the people, from the fans, from the merchandise, and still he's not taking it back. They may take a trophy bag. They may take a line out of a page somewhere. Doesn't matter. They got the money, they got the rings, and they got it all. I'm going to save this for later, but let's get to some recruiting. That's what people want to know about. What's going on? I know lots of visits coming up in June for Indiana. So let's talk about those.
Yeah, so Tamar Bates, actually, he was the first true official visitor for Mike Woodson. He had his official visit earlier this week, which went great. Obviously, he'll be back, I believe, in the next day or two to get back on campus full time here moving forward. But then the next one is an unofficial next week on the 9th. Jeremy Fears, 23, point guard, and then you have your next official visit for Caleb Banks on the 10th. Those are the next two coming up. And then every single week after that through the end of June, you're going to have at least one official visitor and almost at least one unofficial visitor that's scheduled as of now. So very busy week, especially now with coaches at least able to get out on the road moving forward here to actually see some of these recruits. So very busy time for Indiana. And then Jalen Hood Schifino ended up 2 days ago scheduling his official visit for the end of June as well. So you have 5 official visitors locked in, and then I think there's 4 more unofficial that are going to be in June. So very busy time for Indiana, very important month for Indiana, but a very exciting one because all of these guys, Indiana is in probably a very good spot, if not in that lead pack, to land at least 3 or 4 of these 2022 guys who will be on campus.
The difference alone this year in – well, the fact that they can get back out, but just in all things being equal, Indiana, the staff of Indiana getting out is night and day different between the last 4 years, because now when a kid looks over there, he's going to see a lot of faces that he already knows. That he's like, oh, there's Mike Woodson, man. Oh, there's Dane Fife. Could be Thad Matta. I mean, before it was, you probably couldn't see him. But my point is, the staff alone, their presence is a presence now. It used to be that way. The presence of an Indiana basketball staff used to make a presence at those events. That was not the case in the last 4 years. And I mean, I'm not doing that to bash on Archie. You don't need to. I mean, I think the facts about that guy has come out. But now it's back to making a presence, and that matters. That matters to kids. They look over there. They want to see that, man. They want to know that he's here looking at me. They want to know that. Charlie Miller will tell you that. but it matters when you look over there and know that they have come to see you play as opposed to the third assistant. And Indiana has got an entire front line of guys where you're talking about Mike Woodson or Dane Fife or Thad Matta. And it goes deeper than that because Yasir Rosemond and Kenya Hunter, they've all become bigger names. So now Indiana has a staff, to me, that the entire staff makes a presence wherever they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing with them moving forward is they have momentum on the recruiting trail. That's either in the transfer portal or with Tamar Bates. And you look at now just not only the confidence that staff would have had going on the road, but now you look at the past 2 months and they're probably the hottest staff in the entire country just with what they've been able to do. So the personalities that you touched on that they already have going into recruits' homes, going into AAU gyms, that presence itself speaks for itself. But now you look at the confidence and you look around and now the players not only want to join the program to be part of that family that Mike Woodson's trying to create, but you look around and again, you look at all the players who have decided to join just in a short period of time. And that just builds a lot of momentum outside of what the coaches can do because they see all the players. Players know each other through AAU. They know each other through friends. They know each other through family. And word travels fast, especially in AAU gyms. And kids like to see the like to see the make them feel just even more comfortable about doing that.
Yeah, Charlie Miller joins us now. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good. How was your week?
Good. I just got back from Abilene, Texas, about 3 hours away at a shooting camp. About 70-plus players from Tuesday through Thursday. So rock and roll time. Good times, man.
Busy man. Jumped in perfect timing with what we were talking about to pick up on that. Indiana's staff now.
Yeah.
I was saying when they go, they all make a presence. And that's how it used to be. When an Indiana staff guy was there, I was like, oh, God, that guy's from Indiana.
Right.
That hadn't been that way the last couple of years. It's back to being that way again. And that matters. I mean, you were a kid that was being recruited. How important was it if you knew or looked over and there was Bob Knight watching you play?
Oh, man, no, that's significant. I mean, especially to what you guys are talking about. And, to give you a story, for me, it was Coach Ron Felling, right? It was, here's this top assistant coach coming to Las Vegas to see me play and have interest. That was a big deal. And I think now what you were just talking about is, I want to make sure I'm saying Alec, correct? Alec, with Alex, it's true. It's a buzz, right? There's a swag right now. There's an essence. All players know each other across the board now, especially because social media. They talk a lot, right? Where are you looking at going? So there's an energy that's present, and that's good, right? And I don't want to go too far ahead of my point, but there's definitely an energy that I feel and I'm seeing, right? And confident, being comfortable, talking about bringing this family galvanized, right? He talked about Mike Woodson said he wants to galvanize not only the alums, but I think galvanize the program as well. Players.
To me, it's readily evident that's happening. Alec, before we lose you, though, any change in recruiting news, anything that's different that we didn't already know as far as the recruits or the visits that are scheduled, anything expected on the horizon?
Not as of now. June is jam-packed for Indiana, like we said. So with 4 official visitors and then at least 4 unofficial coming up here, they'll start to really pick up here in the next week is when the first true guys step on campus. So like I said, Tamar Bates was the first, I guess, true official visitor of the Mike Woodson era earlier this week. But yeah, moving forward, it's going to be a lot of coverage and it's going to be interesting to hear from these recruits and the families of exactly what Mike Woodson and that staff does on those visits. Because everything that we kind of heard so far about his demeanor over the Zoom calls with families has been exceptional. So to actually hear what he's like in person with these recruits and take them through campus. Now with the best time to be on Bloomington in the summer here with the weather and the beautiful campus, it's going to be even more buzz coming around the corner here in the next 2 weeks when we finally get to have some of these big names that Indiana's going after get on campus and see what they think of it.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I can't say that I know Mike Whitson personally, but I've met him and have spoken to him. He's just real. He's just real. I mean, and you know that he doesn't try to BS. When you just tell he's just talking. Because when he's in the pressers that we've done, he's just being open, honest, and there's no coach speak. He's honest about assessment. He was honest about the Jerome Hunter situation. He comes from the NBA pro, where honest, they're more open. They asked him the other day, Charlie, we had a presser. Why are you meeting with us? Well, right. I know that you guys have a job to do. That's right. Man, he's a professional. He is a professional.
What goes along with that too, fellas, we have to put in consideration, is he's an offensive minded player too. so if I influence situations, right? If I'm proactive, not saying they need to be nice, because he talked about that in that presser, but more so it's a relationship. That's all. I mean, Alec, that's all I'm hearing in these visits on Zoom calls. He understands. He has a better understanding on how to forge relationships with these younger players, and it's needed. And I know you guys know what I'm about to say, in a sense that you're going to validate it. He's been telling everybody, there's no guarantee I'm not going to recruit over you. I think that right there is
there's a guarantee that I probably will recruit over you, actually.
It's driving the nature of all those players to say, okay, cool. I want to show what I got. So in itself, the competition from within the family relationship, all that stuff, those are winning traits, guys. It's now, who knows what the product looks like right now in the workouts. I think June 1, I think they were able to start working out. Who knows what's going to look like during the season? But you're starting what you need to have to raise the level, the standards to become exceptional in the locker room daily. You're starting it with competition. There's no guarantee who's going to start game to game.
Words of wisdom. Alec, what's up next, man?
Obviously, again, Friday recruiting notebook every week. We have a few new things with some other 2022s who are trying to schedule visits, and then looking forward to some big events here coming up, AU events that we'll be at in the next few weeks, which will be great to be out on the road and see some of these top, at least in-state kids play and see some of them go up against some of the top out-of-state and regional guys too.
Well, and like I said, that's next week. That's next Wednesday, the 9th. That's at Brownsburg High School, I believe, just west of Indianapolis. And then that weekend, you've got the Kentucky-Indiana All-Star Series, which is in Owensboro, Kentucky, I think. And then the Indiana side has moved to Southport High School. But looking forward to that. Indiana's got a 3-1 series lead in that. But it'd be interesting to see. Indiana's team should be loaded this year, too.
Yep. It's fine. It usually always is, but every single year, it just seems to get better and better.
Looking forward to it, man. Go to thehoosier.com to get complete coverage on Indiana athletics from Alec Lasley. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, guys.
You bet. Charlie Miller's on with us, and we'll be back with plenty more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Whether you're looking for
How's Charlie?
Good, man. Good.
Busy man, aren't you?
No, well, this is my season, right? This is when I start.
This is funny. This is my this is my window of breathing, actually.
Right. Yeah,
I say window of breathing. It actually comes in small increments.
Understood. Yeah, but this is when the time you get a chance to think a little bit, right? So,
dude, it is the last week and a half.
Yeah,
I swear, some people think I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, what'd you do this weekend? They said, what's wrong with you? I laid in bed.
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend or Memorial Day weekend for 2 days.
Yeah.
I laid in bed and I watched TV and I didn't watch any sports. I was watching whatever.
We need that refresh. Sometimes we need that refresh.
Oh.
I had it a couple weeks ago, right, when I was in Florida. I didn't know I needed it, right? I didn't know I needed that time off.
I knew, but I didn't know how bad because I was like.
Well, exactly. Well, yeah. So, but no, man. But all is good. It had a great showing. Again, over 70 players showed up at a basketball camp, a shooting camp, and we had a great time. Kids learned a lot. My family went with me, so it was local. You know, that's where Andre Patterson grew up, in Abilene, Texas.
I want to ask you something. Oh, yeah. This is so funny. I was trying to invite this guy onto the show because of mistaken identity.
Wow.
But it turns out I was like, well, you know what? If I can get him on, I'm going to get him on anyway. Just it'd be kind of a funny story. But do you know Gary Reedus?
I would have to see his face.
He's an assistant women's coach at SMU in Dallas.
Okay.
But Gary Reedus is also a former Major League Baseball player.
Okay.
And that's what I was thinking. AJ Guyton had forwarded something that he sent, and I'm like, oh, that's Gary Reedus, man. And his things was open. I was like, dude, I'd love to have you on the show sometime. I was a big Reds fan, and then I started looking through his stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't the right Gary Reedus, man.
Because I know the head coach, if he's still there, head coach at SMU, Travis Mays. He played at Texas.
George Leach calling. Let's take this call.
Nice.
Hey, we're coming back. If you
George Leach
on the air, but
buddy, we're doing the show right now. You want to call into the show? Yeah, we'll have you on for a second. Got Charlie Miller on.
All right, coming back.
$170 a month. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
GM Leach 3.
This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indie Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore.
Yeah, we'll send you the link.
Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Here's Jim Coyle.
Just doing things on the fly here, man. You don't know this, Charlie. Coming on at 10:20.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Joe Smith. Remember Joe Smith from the broadcast team? Radio team with Don Fisher.
Okay. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
I've got to get this. That was our friend George Leach calling in the break.
Nice.
He's down in Charlotte making barbecue.
That's right. That's good stuff.
Ooh-wee barbecue. That's some good stuff, as a matter of fact. Have you had it?
I need that. I'm not a fan of Carolina. That vinegar-based barbecue, man. I'm not a fan, man.
I'm not either, but his doesn't seem like that.
Well, okay. Well, if George is bringing to Memphis, that's sweet. I'm good on that. I didn't get hooked. I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina for several years, man. I just couldn't do it. That's
hard to believe. And it's so funny, the differences. And there are some serious differences in the barbecue.
Yeah.
It's no joke.
Right.
With that. So I can't remember if his is. I didn't think that his was. I can't remember. He was, but trying to get him up here for some tailgates.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that. Getting the truck up for the first football game or so.
I was sending that to the wrong guy.
Man. Those guys better bring a lot of food because I know they'll probably sell out.
That's a fact.
That's right.
It's going to happen.
Good stuff, man.
I wish I had some this weekend.
Man, I can't even imagine George in that truck anyway, man, at 6'10".
Wait a minute. George had Jeff Newton.
I know, but I'm just saying George. I know Newton's tall too, right? But
he sends Newton in there. Said I ain't going in there.
Sends
Jeff in there.
George get out. You might have to just buy several plates because he might be intimidated.
Yeah, they were. So you probably haven't had their stuff, huh? You can go ahead and send that to him, John.
No, I've only heard about it.
It was really good.
Obviously, positive things about it.
Their sides are really good.
I'm just grateful for those guys that have the opportunity to still partner together, right, and find some continuity off the court.
Run the business. He's turning that into a whole business with side, just all kinds of things. It's just always cool to see success stories. Let's see. What were we talking about? Anything?
Well, we were talking about you're talking about the coaches with Alec, talking about coaches and kind of like the swagger of the programs. Kind of, they're starting to create an identity on the recruiting trail. And I'm starting to hear that buzz as well. So you're starting to get a lot of, top players considering Indiana as a destination. That's always a good thing. I didn't want to bust the bubble. I want to be positive, right? But still, I think, like I said, that presser, Coach Woodson said it best. I mean, he really doesn't know what he has.
You never see these guys play.
Hey, and again, with respect to Jerome Hunter, the way he spoke about Jerome Hunter's situation,
he did it professionally, like a pro team.
Yeah, it was like, hey, I know he's capable, but the numbers just don't support it, and that's just real. And again, it's not an argument. It's not an argument. It's just you're going off of watching film, looking to do your best at assessing the talent.
Charlie, you were just talking about this, not to interrupt you, but you're just talking about how George could get in it. He's in it right now. He's coming to us live from inside. He was just talking about how you get in that thing, man.
Like, how in the hell do you have a 6'10" guy in a truck with his head not hitting the roof? And you got to have your seat lowered, bro. How you been, man?
I'm good, man. Sweating right now. I'm busy. I'm trimming briskets right now for event tomorrow.
Love that, man. You them words right there.
Brisket. See, he's up and at it.
I've been up since 5.
I love it. Words.
George is a hard-working man. He is. How is Uwe going? Uwe barbecue.
It's good. This past 18 months was a test. Oh, first off, I built my trucks with 12-foot ceilings. So
okay.
I thought,
no way, bro. Come on. I'm being real.
Literally, I can't touch the ceiling.
There's no way you come in like you're hunched over. It is what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, man, like I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna buy a truck for my size, realize that I'm probably gonna be working on these trucks for a year. Didn't know, that I'm gonna be having employees that are normal human height. So now the truck is too big for them. So I built the second one for all their sizes. So, but that's the one that actually Jeff likes to do the work the most. So his back is always hurting him for working the food truck.
Well, and again, ergonomics, he'll learn. Carpal tunnel.
He'll learn. But yeah, man.
How's the barbecue business?
Good. It's good. COVID kind of taught us a lot. Showed us how strong it is.
That's right.
We really had to pivot, which all businesses have to do that. Every now and then. With us, it came up, unexpectedly because we have big contracts. We do large events like NASCAR. We do catering for every single large company in the city and also in the state. So it's like, okay, all that's done. So now I'm like, I had like a day or two where I may have dived in a good bottle of bourbon and had to sort it all out. And I already do
talk about it.
What's up?
Actually, talk about it, man. Hey, look, sometimes it's hot dogs, sometimes it's steaks. I get it.
Yeah, man. It's like, how the hell am I going to figure out how to sell barbecue now when everybody's scared to going out? I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, well, I'm inside the truck. I'm not put inside of the truck. Like, you're not going out to a restaurant. You're not
right
in the elements. I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of quarantined in here. So I actually called. I was the first food truck caterer to call it. I said, look, call the health department. Hey, come, let's sit down and figure this out because I need to make money. Like, I have too much of a buzz behind my name to just sit down for 18 months, which is what would have lasted. So they're like, okay, you guys are good. We literally had to change. We just had to bleach stuff down a little bit more, which if you've been around bleach, it is a lot. It is a lot to deal with. But at the end of the day, these trucks are clean. I've never had a low score at all. Here in our estate, they grade by a number. So you get anywhere from 100 to, if you get below a 95, it's an issue. So
right,
ours has always been above that. So it's like the neighborhoods. It kind of worked out. It was like, okay, so let's like park our food truck at your pool, so that way everybody can do a pre-order system where they can all order, their what they want in family packages. So we did that. So I did a few big neighborhoods. Got our butts whooped. I'm okay. I got to figure out a better system because now people want to actually come get food. So I literally had everything spaced out. Like I literally had cops out there making sure everybody was good because I didn't want any kind of issues with us because we draw a crowd. So I didn't want people to feel uncomfortable or get some bad rep or get bad press. So man, all that went great. It turned out to be a whole new niche for us, a whole new stream of revenue.
Just
doing neighborhoods. So it's that saved, and I'm doing more neighborhoods per hour. I mean, it's literally a 2.5 hour shift. A corporate lunch is a 3 to 4 hour shift with double the amount of employees because these people got to get back to work. They got a 20-minute window. So this neighborhood, everybody's at work, off of work, they got the kids, so it's like, okay, cool. Let me walk down to the community pool, pick up my order that I ordered at 5:30. It's already ready for you to come get at the window, pay and go. So it's been, we're strong, man. We're strong.
I love it. I love it. And all I heard was, you're in the paint. You got to pivot. You got to go left shoulder turn, right shoulder turn. Yep. Hey, we down by 15. We got to figure this out.
Oh, we were down by 30 for a minute there.
Exactly. Hey, look, and you gonna take your L's, but that's the learning lessons, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the give and take, and that's the fairness of business. Mm-hmm. You were getting a chance to experience it like a corporate, because you are corporate. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you may not know, but I've been doing basketball development for 11 years. Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying. And it's every day. It's the repetitions that we get, and it's the lifelong lessons of what we did a long time ago, right? Mm-hmm. And I always tell people this, man: your repetition will create your reputation. And you got a strong 100%. Reputation.
100%. I mean, the biggest thing for us is that we like show up on time. We show up. That's right. And it's it's a whole lot like new trucks out in the city. I mean, it's 300 new trucks in this city alone. 300 new ones.
Oh, so you're doing your homework too. You're scouting. See. I only hear basketball, Jim. I don't hear food. I hear basketball.
Numbers, baby. Numbers.
Basketball.
We got look at the numbers. To talk to the city. I don't hear food. I hear Leach in the locker room, man.
Well,
4-1, right?
It is. If I'm actually starting center and I got 4 or 5 freshmen coming in that want my time, I'm gonna have to make sure I'm on point.
There you
go. Make sure I'm reliable because these guys are chasing money.
There you
I'm not
go.
chasing money. I'm building the brand. So I'm chasing relationships. You know what I'm saying? I'm consistent. I'm at the same place I've been 2 years.
Yes.
I'm reliable. I respond to conversations. You don't have to find me. I'm not late ever. So,
But that's always been you. That's always been you. That's I don't know anybody else other than who I'm hearing on this call. That's always been you. So that's always going to lead when people meet you, whether they know you or not.
George, genuine. How much of athletics or basketball or whatever athletics, but goes in to the businessman side? I mean, I was holding up the forwards to the one because that was Bob Knight's big thing because it's always making you think, but because everything is a thinking game. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It's a thinking game.
So it's funny, so I'll get a big event, right? So it's like I'm at Charlotte has 2 major lakes, one north, one south, and then
Lake
one
Norman.
Right? Yeah, Lake Norman, Lake Wiley, and then you have Mountain Island. So it's a big one in Mooresville by Lake Norman, right? So, I need my shooter to come in and take, I need a person that's going to come in, a hired gun that knows what the hell I want, going to literally rep the stuff out. So that's my niece. So she has she graduated from Johnson & Wales. She's also a general manager at a restaurant here in Charlotte, but that's my shooter. I need to come in at these big events and just get this
There you
stuff.
go.
So
That's right.
it's a people think, you know, my wife rolls her eyes when I like start using basketball terminology in my business. She's like,
But it is what it is.
but it, I'm telling you, I'm like, first off, you got to be a shit on this truck. Like, literally, you could come on this truck and lose 50 pounds because it's hot. I'm the type of boss that's going to give you a fan. You're not getting no AC because I got to run power in here. Sorry. Open these windows up. You'll be fine. And also, get in shape. If you're going to come on my truck, I'm going to pay you good. I'm going to tip you good. But if you pass out, that's your last day. I'm sorry. Now, mind you are covered under workers' comp, so you're covered. But, like, this isn't for the faint of heart, man. These people think I'm going to open up a food truck and be successful. No. It's a whole different ballgame. Like, you gotta, like, people are impatient. Right. People are impatient. And people, you start realizing, like, your customers, man, you got one time to mess up. One time. Like, they will give McDonald's 10, 15 times. They done forgot your sauce. You know, they done forgot to give you ice in your drink. Or they got the sandwich wrong. Ain't no cheese on it. Us, it can be anything. It's like the portion was a little bit smaller than one.
Where's my barbecue sauce, man? I didn't get my barbecue sauce.
Oh, my gosh. And then people won't read the menu. I'm like, look, that menu is printed out. That is legible. Like, you should be able to read this and not look at me and ask what you got. I'm not reading out this menu to you.
You get one chance to make a first impression. Hey, if you can stick around for a few minutes, we got to take a quick break and we'll come back and we can talk some more barbecue and basketball. George Leach joining us along with Charlie Miller here on this great Friday. Back with more after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Hey, Hoosier fans. Yeah, Charlie, that reminds me, working on getting George up here like for a couple of football games.
Yeah.
George, you might well look. What was it? The Ohio State was second. What was the first one? Oh, Cincinnati. That's a noon game. The time came out, so that's a noon game. The one, what's the 7:30? Did I lose you? Oh, the week before that's a 7:30 game.
Yeah, the week up before, I think it's St. John. Somebody the week before that, like 7:30. But the noon game.
But the noon game is probably better because then you got all day long to sell on the street that night to all those drunk fools.
Yeah. So actually, I got the ball rolling big time with that. So. You know, you and I were talking beforehand, but I'm the kind of person that likes to have, you know, I need to have my stuff straight. I don't want to come up there blind and put you in the bind and put me in the bind when it comes to the legality of this. So I've already contacted and got all the paperwork from Monroe County Health Department. Yeah. I've already got a potential commissary, which I have to prep my food at and dispose of wastewater, get fresh water from, which is the main thing when it comes to this business. So all of that is in place. It's literally just paying a nominal fee, and that's it. Other than that, it's been, you know, people have been very.
Me and George just talked about this. We just talked about this a little bit. Look, he's got all that done. Oh, it's done.
I mean,
this is an
I'm in the business of making money, and that's a lot of money I can make up there.
That's right.
Well, and like I said, that's why I knew. I'm like, oh, man, this is the time because the success is going to hit. People are back. It's going to blow up. It's going to be big. So, and then it's you. Yeah. You got it. I know it's difficult, and it's not you, but, man, you got to get a truck up here.
Yeah.
You got to take advantage of your name here.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, in basketball, you're always taught to be humble. And in business, you're supposed to you have to completely flip your mindset. Like I need to make money off my name. Like I've never made money off my name. A camp here and there, but I didn't dive into that too much. And I played so long overseas. You know, just ball players. You know, hey, be humble, be humble, be humble. Now it's like no, like put your name behind this. Especially if you get the opportunity to go to Indiana, like you are going to sell that product, and then once they have the product will sell itself. So. Yeah. You know, I had to completely change my mindset of that. Now, Indiana is an end game for me. Like, I want to be in that, you know, in the concessions in the football stadium. I also want to be tailgating out there. I want to be in Assembly Hall. And I'm thinking, why not? I know what I'm doing.
Back. Sorry to interrupt, but we're coming back.
Then stay for dinner at Sam's Clubhouse. Sam's Restaurants, professionals in the art of food and drink.
This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Here's Jim Coyle.
Welcome back. It has turned into an absolutely festival here on this Friday, as it has a tendency to do. Charlie Miller's with us. And we were joined by George Leach, who is in the process of making us jealous because he's in there in the midst of making some fine barbecue. I can almost smell it all the way from North Carolina. Man. And that's another thing. That is a nonstop process, making barbecue. That is like a non-stop thing.
Yeah, it's just literally 24
How did you get into that? How did you get into? I know I asked you this before, but I don't remember. How did you get into this serious? I mean, it's you got to dive into this stuff. Or you got to start getting some knowledge. Like Charlie said, you got to know. I mean, there's just all kinds of little things to know in whatever you're doing to be good.
Yeah, you got to learn all your cooking processes. Man, this is time. It's nothing more than I say trying to get for me trying to do a right hand layup, which I still probably can't do. But barbecue, you got to take your time with it. My brother-in-law was the one who taught me how to. I could already grill, but I didn't know how to smoke. So my brother-in-law, he always had to pull behind a smoker, and I just took to that. And I loved it. I loved seeing the outcome of it. I love the cooking process, the methods. I came up with my own recipes. My mom's a big time cook, so our sides are just as good as our meats or whatever. But I grew up around food. I love food. My life is based off of what restaurant we're going to go to, or where me, my wife, and the kids are going to travel to go eat somewhere. So it's just it's fun. I've always done it. I did it in Indiana a little bit before I graduated. I just always grew up for everybody. Overseas, I always had people over and I grilled, and then I retired and I was bored. I was in a cast. I tore my Achilles, so hell, I was out in the driveway smoking meats every day. So that just turned, a hobby turned into a career.
That's right.
I'm glad you said meats at the end of that. But it's funny how hobbies can turn into something way more for people. But the reason that happens is passion, or it's because whatever it is you do, if you don't have passion to do it, I don't know how good you can be at it. If your just heart is just not in it. Charlie does what he loves, and you make a lot of people happy on a daily basis.
Right.
So that alone has got to be.
Yeah, I mean that's the best part. Like just like catering, like the wedding. Like I do. People don't know. I don't do a lot of social media because I keep a lot of my stuff private. Like here, back in the day, I had to start by sampling and earning my clients and going out and getting business. These days, guys look at the social media where you parked at. Okay, cool. I'm gonna call his client to see if I can come on his territory. So I don't even post anything, but we do 50 odd weddings a year. We do 200 private caterings a year. And to see somebody choose us for their special day, I know how me and my wife were for our wedding. We chose our favorite restaurants and that. Our whole wedding was based off people to experience the experience we had at this restaurant, and they loved it. So I feel honored to get chosen for stuff like that. And even at NASCAR, you're putting out. I mean, NASCAR is a beast. It's like just putting out as much as you can. But for me, it's putting out as much as you can without lowering the level of your quality, because you can get some fair food, some fair crap out there, and it's like, no, I'm giving you fresh, handmade stuff, and it pays off, and people see you. Okay, cool. I saw you at NASCAR. I'm gonna have you up for my company for 200 people. All that stuff. If I didn't love it or if I didn't care about that, I wouldn't get these opportunities. Or you even calling me saying, "Hey, George, let's try to start this up here at school." You got to trust me to do all that. Like that's a big deal up there.
Well, what I want to share this real quick. So, Jim, you talked about having passion. George talked about his family lineage of having a love for cooking. That's called a primal cue. And I realized for me, guys, at 44, my primal cue was not my passion, my motivation, my aspiration to play high level. it was me putting my sister's shoes on when she was in high school, and I wanted to be like her because she was a good basketball player. George, it could have been watching his family cook, and he had a love for cooking, not realizing that was going to turn into something way deeper, right?
No.
Because motivation inspiration will last for so long. Now you start nitpicking at things that get you hyped about. When you realize, man, I'm listening to George, man, that's years. That's 20 plus years of that embodying experience of food bringing people together. That's what I'm hearing from George, man. That's beautiful to hear.
Switching topics to a little bit of basketball, George. I don't think we haven't talked since they hired Mike Woodson. The change that's gone on here. So a complete change here. Dane Fife, Mike Woodson, Thad Matta. A lot of different names will be on the side or in and around the program this year. And it's just wanted to get your thoughts. What do you see from the outside?
Yeah, well, when Dan got the job, he called me. He was like, "George, we're gonna take up a barbecue here in Indiana." I'm like, "You just got the job. Focus on that right now." But I'm happy to see Dane there. I was hating to see Mike go. Me and Mike came in together. I got a special place for Mike Roberts. I love that guy. But I mean, he's more than good. Michael always fall on his feet. I know he's at Cincinnati right now, which is a great gig. It's good to see Coach Woodson, in there, and just because, the thing about Indiana, the reason why I went to Indiana was because it had a prestige about it, and it wasn't that, they always had the best records, but it's an allure to come to Indiana for a guy. I'm not from there. I had no idea what it was from just being a powerhouse basketball school, right? So when I say powerhouse, I think of Duke, Carolina, UCLA, Kentucky, right? So I'm thinking that it can go back to that type of prestige, because it's not that, and I don't do the blame game with Arch and all that kind of stuff. He tried his best. I firmly believe he tried his best, but sometimes you just can't get all those pieces of work together. So now it's up to Coach Woodson to try to figure this out and hopefully get it back to where it was. But I mean, I always have high hopes. People call me Mr. Optimistic, but that's just how I am. I have high hopes, but I believe that it can turn around and be better,
Oh, I believe it's on its way. Like you mentioned, just getting the names that you mentioned. I mean, all of those guys, the one thing that they all have in common, they all care about the program at a much deeper level. The program itself means something to them, like it does you, like it does Charlie. It matters, and that's passion right there. If you don't have that passion to start with, I think you're starting a couple steps behind, and so these guys are starting a couple steps ahead.
100% agree. 100% agree.
And now you've got a cross-section of coaching. Mike Woodson from the NBA, Dane Fife, of course, and you got Thad Matta in the background. You can't forget about.
In the background.
So there's all kinds of there's the new rule change that's coming down the pike that will allow that to not be the case, to where him or some of the other guys can be involved with coaching on the floor at certain times of the year.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think it'd be great. I think the program is going in the right direction. I hate to see anybody lose their job. I've been in this position where I lost my job for somebody else, but you got to keep them moving,
You talked about something earlier. I think we may have been in the break, and I think it's of huge importance. We were talking about business, and I, how much did you take from sports basketball to run your business? But you talked about in that, you were so taught to be humble all the time, and now it's a reverse because you need to make money on it, kind of like the name, image, likeness deal that's going on right now. And I see Joe Smith's going to join us. You can bring Joe on in. I'd love to have him in with these guys as well. Hey, Joe Smith, how are you?
Good, Jim. How you doing?
Great. Got Charlie Miller and George Leach here.
All right. Look at the former Hoosiers there. Great seeing you guys.
Got a lineup for you, brother. Just asking George, though, about what was I asking? I got confused. Or I forgot what I was asking about. The name, image, likeness. Yeah, you've got to change that thought. but this is that. Can you imagine having to do that while you're in school? But now you're trying to get yourself to do that. How and that's been hard for you?
I mean, it's all about maturity. You know, like, I mean, it's times where I'm out here like, what am I doing? I've become more of not just trying to just grind myself on the ground, becoming more of a numbers guy and trying to what's working, what's not working. Like my profits, my losses, my bottom line. You have to literally figure out who you're going to put in the game in that lineup to make you successful. Or if you're getting blown out, you need to figure out what works, why you're getting blown out. And then that way, the next time you get into an event, you know what works. So sometimes you take those L's, but everything's a learning process, especially with business. But, I don't feel – I mean, I've had some failures, but I don't feel they're failures. Tax stuff I had to learn. I got to wear a bunch of hats.
Learning.
But
those are all learning.
Yeah. So
how much of this sounds like everything you do on the court with kids, all the just nonstop?
It's the same stuff. It's situation changes. It's all the same.
It's life.
Situations change, right? I mean, and we've committed to be lifelong learners. I mean, I think every human is, and I think that what we are trying to do every day is maximize our human potential. George is doing it with food. George is doing it with food. George is doing it with relationships, with learning how to get turned down, get told no. That no teaches him how to get the yes performance feedback. The shot the kid missed puts his head down. I got to find a way emotionally and mentally, spiritually to keep this kid up, edify him, right? It's the same concept. And I think we've learned those lessons, hard knock being players, but then this is why we do what we do. So it's like, you go to school for 4 years to help create the next 40 years of your life. And now for me, I'm at the second half of it.
Joe, what's it like for you to see these guys? Because you saw them a long time ago as college student athletes, and now here we're talking to George as a businessman. Well, they're both businessmen, but George is a businessman, and Charlie's a businessman, but in basketball. But everything they're doing and saying is the same, and it's just people don't understand. It is the exact same, but used in so many different directions. But you were there when they were college student athletes.
Well, it's just great to see them and to know where they've gone since they graduated from IU. But that's where they built their foundation, and I know that they both have spoken about that. And it's just great to see that they have matured even more than they did throughout the course of playing basketball in Indiana. But it's just great to see, and it's just I've got a lot of respect for both. They both played. George, how's that toe of yours? Remember that toe you broke and you had a jump center?
Yes, I do remember that. Yes, it's good. I'm good. I feel the best I ever felt. I haven't, played organized basketball. I'm getting paid for it since 2012.
TBT.
I feel
TBT. TBT.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get an IU alumni TBT team. Somebody's got to put an IU alumni TBT team together, man.
I'll give you a strong 5 minutes. That's about it.
Yeah,
that's what I said. We can practice the hyper. That's probably
right.
They don't
too hot in the hyper.
I see the boys over in West Lafayette have gone in that tournament, the men of Mackey. So Indiana needs to get going, rolling with about 8 good ones, huh?
I've tried to. All these guys I've talked to, I keep asking. I was like, "Hey, Jordan is screwed because he plays too deep into." Well, now he's on a really good team, the best team he's ever been on, and I think it's the first time he's ever been in the playoffs. And they're in the playoffs right now. I need to check with him to see where they've been rolling along, but it's his first time ever in the playoffs over there. He's in Germany. So he gets hung up, and then there's, trying to think who else. There's just other guys that are still playing, but they're still playing. And that's what makes it difficult, because you saw Robbie Hummel, who took some time off, but then was a part of that 3-on-3 team that failed to qualify for the Olympics. The Americans, we're not going to have a 3-on-3 team for the Olympics. But they sent some retired guys. Why the hell did they do that? They might as well just send me and Joe over there.
Well, I don't know about that.
Hey, we got to take a quick break. We've got Joe Smith with us and Charlie Miller. If George can stick around, he'll stick around. And if not, he won't be here when we come back. But it's been a blast already on this Friday. We're back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Whether you're looking for a relaxed
George is coming up for some football games. He's going to have some barbecue. I'll make sure to bring some up to the top of the Ivory Tower.
Well, at least there are going to be fans in the stands and kind of get back to normalcy. Boy, I tell you, that was hell, basketball, football, to get through that tough stretch. But
are you doing this season?
As far as I know,
this season? Oh, well, I knew that you were getting close to either wanting to do with 1 or 2 more years. I didn't know if I thought you had said that. Maybe you didn't.
I told Fish, I'll be with him as long as he wants me. So we're going on 40 plus years together. So, it's,
boy, you better start going to the gym then. Cause that man, I don't think he's ever he ain't never leaving. He looks younger than I do.
I'm going to the gym, but it's for a different reason.
Yeah.
It's called getting old. 74.
Yeah. Well, Don Don looks younger than I do.
Fish is he takes care of himself.
Specimen.
How old is Don Fisher now?
73, 4?
He's 74.
Okay.
Yeah, when Royce was
2
living,
weeks ago.
we were the oldest. When Royce was living, we were the oldest broadcast threesome in major college basketball.
Wow.
Back in those days.
When did Royce pass?
I want to say it's been about 7 or 8 years ago. So what's this new setup you got down at your palatial estate down there at Lake Monroe?
What's that? This?
Yeah, this get up here. Look at this. We're live from Eagle Point.
Yeah, just had to jazz it up.
Man,
I need to put a little ooey barbecue sticker right there. There we go, perfect.
George, where are you living now?
Charlotte.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. My bad.
Where are you living now?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
I mean, my hometown. So.
Yeah, Charlie, where are you hanging out now?
I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm bringing us back in.
Honda Civic LX front-wheel drive lease for just $180 a month, or a new 2021 Honda Accord LX front-wheel drive lease for just $270 a month. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Here's Jim Coyle.
Welcome back on this Friday. It has turned out to be a spectacular one as George Leach joined us. We've got Joe Smith and Charlie Miller. Yeah, the only thing we don't have is some ooey barbecue right now to turn this into a complete festival. That's another thing. You got to somehow get some ooey barbecue up for constant sale up here in Bloomington. I would think that would be a.
Yeah, I'm working on it. So when I did that event a couple years back or whatever, we actually sold around $3,000 in merchandise, which is t-shirts, sauce, and rub. So that kind of gave me a good gauge of what like it could be as far as sales wise. So we're when we come up there for the games, whatever, I'm gonna have different types of merch to sell. Sauce, rubs. We have a couple of rubs. I'll give out stickers and all all that kind of stuff to put on the fridge or whatever. But just to keep the buzz out there, man. So that's all we're doing.
What's the slogan? Is there do you have everybody has a slogan.
We smoke it. You name it, we smoke it. I sell a lot of t-shirts.
I see they always got I know another guy that has a barbecue place. His is we got the best rubbed butts in town or something like that. It's just, there's all kinds of stuff you can do with barbecue. It's
a lot.
Joe Smith, what is up with you? We're getting into the time where you can relax, I hope. I know you're rehabbing and always working out, but what else is going on with you?
Well, we got a busy day ahead in sports. We have the state track and field championships, the boys today and the girls tomorrow. You know, they changed the venue because of the, COVID protocols, moved it away from Billy Hayes out to Ben Davis. So I got a busy day today, starting at 11:30. Then we have our big show Friday this afternoon with Glass, Mike and Glascott at 3 o'clock, and go from there. Got Edgewood in the regional against Northview. That'll be a good matchup. Edgewood trying to lay the road like they did 2 years ago when they went all the way to the 3A state championship game against Andrean, who's been moved up to 4A. And, of course, Bob Jones got his 500th win earlier this year. He's got the best pitcher in the state who is committed to IU, and Jeff Mercer, and that's Luke Hayden. And he is something else, believe me. And he'll go tomorrow at 2 o'clock against Northview, who they beat 4-3. And interestingly enough, earlier in May, that was Bob Jones's 500th victory for his long tenure at Edgewood. That's the only baseball coach over the course. Well, Bob's in his 39th year and going strong. So that'll be interesting. Interesting, too, Brebeuf and Chittard play in the other semifinal at Danville, and then the winners play at 8 o'clock on Saturday. So the plate's full. The plate is full.
I love it. Charlie, this is what Joe is probably, if not one of the all-time high school radio broadcasters in this state. Just heard him spit all that stuff out. He's got about 50 years. I got about 50 years of that stuff. He's got about 50 years of that stuff in there.
It keeps them engaged and interested, and I hear we talk about that. It blows me away. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. How do you every day? I mean, I know how hard it is to continue to pull all that knowledge in, man. It's a constant grind. How do you keep doing it?
Oh, I love it still. I love the games the kids play. And the last time you and I talked, the last time that you and I talked, it was after a disappointing loss to Lawrence North by Bloomington South in the, the Final Four back in March down in Seymour. And then, football will be starting soon. Well, actually, I'll be an interested onlooker. I haven't met him. I did his greatest game in college, Mike Woodson, when I'll tell you a story. Hilliard Gates developed some glaucoma issues back in the late 70s. And I was doing the TV pregame show with Don Luft at the time and ended up doing the game in Champaign that afternoon when Woody scored 48. And then also in the first ever Great Alaskan Shootout, it was called the Seawolf Classic back then, the year that Indiana Fish was doing, Max Gervin was working with Fish in those days, and Fish sent me to Anchorage, Alaska to start the 78 season. I promptly got us off to an 0-2 start. We played in a little bandbox at the Seawolf Classic field house there on the base, and quickly I got us off to an 0-2 start. Long story short, we came home 1-3. But Woody remembers what then was called, the Seawolf Classic into the Great Alaskan Shootout. So have memories of Woody, and I'm yearning now to get out in person. And, I don't Zoom, as you know, Jim. This is new to me, this high-tech stuff you got going on at your palatial palace down there at Lake Monroe.
You look great.
I don't know. I'm just kind of went through a COVID funk like everybody else, with online and Zoom and virtual. I want to get back with the recorder, mic in hand, one-on-one stuff, and you just can't develop the personal relationships that I built up over my 50 years in broadcasting. You lose some of that. I know it's essential. I know why they have had it, but I hope we get back broadcasting wise to a little bit more normalcy like we've enjoyed in the past.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot because it does change things. There is no relationship. You can't. It's harder to understand personalities, and it's just definitely you want to. I think that even a lot of the coaches want to get back to that, because Tom Allen, for example, that's everything he does is built on relationships, and most people, for that matter. So I think most people want to get back to that. I know I do, and everybody on here does. Charlie does.
Mentioning that, the dead period is over. What was that? 15 months long. It was a long, long time. It's just reopened. And mentioning Coach Tom, I know he has sent Kevin Wright or put Kevin Wright in charge of, sending the coaches out to the camps that are open across the country. Indiana has recruited well in Florida, Georgia. They're down there where the coaches can have that, Jim, one-on-one contact and continue to develop the personal relationships, because, as you know, that's what Tom is all about. And you really get a feel for a person in that regard when you can sit down with them and, without a mask on and see their face countenance and see what they're made of. So it's busy time for Tom with the rest of the month with on-campus visits, and to a certain extent with Coach Mike, who Woody's done a heck of a job here since March the 28th, developing this basketball team that hopefully will, take Indiana back to the top. And I mean the top as a championship basketball club and not just a contender. I'm an interested onlooker. And boy, I know with we've seen the early success that he's had already, especially with transfers, and wish him nothing but the best. But I want to go out and see him, not so much interview him, just say hi. So maybe next Thursday, he'll have a chance. He gets a chance to work with his ball club for the first time. So hopefully the doors to Cook will reopen for the old man.
Charlie, you know quite well what Joe's talking about.
Yeah. Well, I was going to just say, again, I think that as an onlooker to you guys, having expressed interest in media in the sense of what we're doing right now, what I hear from you guys is more, especially from Joe, the interpersonal relationships that were missed, right? And I think that's where Coach Allen has done a great job on the football side, getting to know people, getting to figure them out. The X's and O's, the technique, I think that was already qualified. Basketball, being able to play defense, offense, shoot, football, be able to tackle, run routes. It's then now, who are you as a person? And I think that's the interest. Because when things aren't going well, it's the relationship that's going to keep us together. Mm-hmm. It's the interpersonal relationship that's going to embody that experience. So that's, to me, without that, you just, again, it's just too much robotic like, right? So I'm glad. It's good to hear when I hear people like Joe, you, Jim, talk about that. It's interpersonal relationships, man. That's what it's about.
Absolutely, everything is built upon that, and it's great. But it's great to see it being brought back around, as we've talked about, and not just the IU basketball family, but it's more than that. It's the community, it's Bloomington, it's the state, that the state of which parts that favors Indiana at least, which is a large section. But there was just, Joe, so much fraction in all of those sections. Even amongst the players, there was fractions within the players. And since the firing of Coach Knight, I guess there has never been where their players are all in one bubble or one circle, I guess you could say. Does that sound fair to say?
Well, it's definitely fair to say. I thought we saw that in motion this past season. We went through that tough stretch. I can, Eric Sewer and myself, Eric would drive us up to the virtual. We did all of the road games except for a couple of stops, Purdue, Ohio State, virtually from a studio in Indianapolis. And, we went through that tough stretch as well with the wins and the losses. But that being said, this is why, Coach Knight built such a tremendous, concept of I'm coach, you're my player, you're going to learn from me, and this is how it's going to be done. And we see now a former player, a former great player in Mike Woodson grab hold of the reins, and we're seeing the family concept already evolving. We started to see that when Bob came back, to Assembly Hall to cheering crowd, and all of the players that showed up to honor Coach Knight in Assembly Hall. That kind of broke the fracture, Jim. And now Woody has taken a hold of the reins, and that's what it's all about, bringing Indiana basketball back to where it was. And I have no question that it will be accomplished under Mike and that staff that he's put together. Look at that staff. I mean, he even goes back. He brings back Anitra House. He brings and talks about Hank Foyer, the neurosurgeon that worked on his back, that miracle that happened when Woody came back and did what he did and led Indiana to a Big Ten championship. Dane Fife coming back, former player. So, and Charlie knows how important that is to be coming back. And I know he will, living down in Texas. Charlie, and I've seen you from afar when you've already made your visits into Assembly Hall when you can to see Indiana play. And it's just great to see the players come back. And as I say, basketball will be here in time, but I'm interested too in what Tom Allen will do in his fifth year as well. So, hey, it's a great state of the state. We're kind of returning to normalcy. And, I'm on here on a Zoom call, you call that now? Is that what we're doing? And, man.
Hey, Zoom is now a verb, we've done so many of them, exactly right. But, one thing I want to say, it's funny you say all those things because it goes right back to passing the torch. The torch light got dimmed. I wouldn't say it was taken out or blown out. It's just now taking that cover off that torch and letting that torch continue. And the wins and losses will take care of itself, but just there's excitement, Joe. I talked to Jim about every sport at Indiana, not just basketball, football, women's basketball, baseball, men's soccer that we've known for ever since I was in school, almost 30-something years of passing of the torch. So it's just an exciting time for me as a former player, but someone who loves IU, just hearing how much all the sports teams are achieving and doing well.
And we still have track and field. Ron Helmer's doing an outstanding job. And the NCAA National Championships next weekend, Charlie, are out in a brand new Hayward field in Eugene, Oregon. And we got guys Ben Veach and Kayla Dawson, just to name two that have had outstanding years in what has been a fractured, spring season, but they've competed well and will be competing next week, and we wish them well. And the great job Todd Yeagley did with his soccer team. A disappointing loss, but boy. And then great news yesterday, hearing Spencer Glass is coming back for that extra year, that extra COVID year. And boy, I tell you what, if Todd moves him to midfield, look out. The Hoosiers will be back in the College Cup. And Jeff Mercer, we can go right down the line. Disappointing end of the season, but yet too, it was so disappointing not to allow fans in the BART. That was to go by there and not see any cars when we were playing, except for parents. That was tough. And but that being said, right man for the job. He's done a heck of a job, and we'll be back contending. And maybe next year we'll be on the road to Omaha. So there are so many, like you said, Charlie. Go right down the list. Every 24 sports, there's something to get excited about as we take the process forward and forget COVID-19.
That's right.
Yeah, we got to do this every Friday, man. If you're off at this time, oh man, I'm going to make this the Joe Smith segment. It just makes it magical. Absolutely. So are you're going to go? I saw Mike yesterday, by the way, Glascott, who you'll be working with later today.
Yep.
Glass in the afternoon in Bloomington. But I saw him yesterday. Tell him I said hello. But yeah, this has been a blast. What's coming up next for you other than what we've already talked about?
Myself?
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Besides getting out of that chair at some point.
Well, I'll get out of the chair because Woody, my cat is named Woody, and Woody's 4 years old. After my accident, I had to get a cat, so his name was Woodrow. His full name, I call him Woody. So I got two pieces. I got
very appropriate.
Yeah. So anyway, planning on watching my grandson pitch. He's on the travel team. He's 9 years old for the Brownsburg Bulldogs, and he's having an excellent spring. He's a left-hander, and matter of fact, he got a little ring. The kids won the Center Grove Championship 2 weeks ago, and onward and upward there. So looking forward to watching him compete the rest of the summer. So it's just I stay busy, and we've got regional baseball and all kinds of stuff left. Golf yet on the state beat. Bloomington South is top 5 in the state. So a lot going on.
Absolutely. Man, it has been an absolute blast having you on, and love to do this whenever we can. It's just fun. You talk about a fun way to wrap up a Friday. Can't imagine a better way to do it than with Joe Smith.
Well, appreciate you guys having me on. It's good seeing George and Charlie.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not going to bring up a bad name, but remember Chauncey Billups?
Yeah. That's not bad to me. It's all memory.
Huh?
It's all memory, man.
He's a great player, but he ended our season, didn't he? What?
Yeah, he sure did. He sure did. That was in
Winston-Salem. It was in Winston-Salem, wasn't it?
No. Let me go back. Idaho freshman year, sophomore year, Florida.
Yeah.
Junior year, that was Chauncey.
Yeah.
That wasn't North Carolina. Was that North Carolina?
Yeah. Well, he got hot at the wrong time and
he went crazy. Yeah,
he got about 36 on us that day. Didn't miss the shot.
Chauncey's a good guy.
I hope you weren't guarding Chauncey.
No. I think everybody was guarding Chauncey.
Yeah.
But no, great guy. If he wasn't a great guy, he had a bad name. But no, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah, I played with Colorado.
Yep.
Man, Joe, go out and have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend, and hope to see you soon. Looking forward to it, brother. Thank you, brother.
All righty. Thanks, guys. Good seeing you, Charlie.
See you, Joe. Thank you, sir.
We'll be back with more Indiana Sports Beat to finish it out here on this great Friday right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Hey, Hoosier fans, whether you're looking, this is the Charlie Miller segment. Any and all things. It's all you.
It. Thank you.
Joe he's funny.
That's good stuff, man.
That dude he's one of those people. I'm so jealous of people that have memories like that. Just call of it. Yeah, you remember that time is what was it, 1979? Yeah, we were standing on that ramp in the back of and I'm like, God.
Yeah.
I can't remember that stuff, man.
No, it's all good. And the thing about it, that's when you know you're having fun because the stuff sticks with you, man. It doesn't leave you.
You know, the funny thing is we went to 2 hours this week. Every one of those shows has been the fastest show that we've done. John, is that not true?
No, every day this week's been great for sure.
Every day is like, what? It's 11 already? I'm
well,
like, damn.
Well, it's almost like that bonus time anyway, stuff time. It's like it starts to pick up as far as like what, the topics, and it's like, okay, you got to end it. So now it's like, it's picking up. The momentum is still there. Now it's just, leading into it.
Yep. What you doing this weekend?
Actually, man, interesting. I want to save it. I think it's something we talk about. Not even for me to experience. So I am going to a wedding tomorrow of one of the first players I started coaching when he was a seventh grader. And now he just graduated from Baylor, and he is getting married on Saturday. And
did he play at Baylor?
He did not. But I need to send this to you guys. Man, he sung I don't know if you can play it. It's appropriate.
Send it to John.
He literally made up a
text
rap.
it to John? Can you text it to John?
It was a John Wall rap, but he put my name in there. And
can you text it to John?
Or shoot me the link on an email, one or the other, and I can get it into the StreamYard.
Yeah, he sung this at my wedding. He sent. Yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. His name is Addison, man, and Addie's getting married on. He's getting married. So, man, Addie was 12 when I met him. 11.
I got to bring this back. Sorry,
7th grade. Now he's just graduated from Baylor.
All the right foods to go with.
Getting married.
Plan a day on the links at Eagle Point in Bloomington, then stay for dinner at Sam's Clubhouse. Sam's Restaurants, professionals in the art of food and drink. This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indie Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Here's Jim Coyle.
Welcome back on this beautiful Friday. Man, I haven't said that much this week. As the rain has gone, it is looking very springy. As June has arrived. What is this, June 3rd? No, it's June 4th. So there's that. We're into June, a beautiful weekend coming up. I don't know what you have planned, but I hope it's plenty of fun. We have had a blast already today with George Leach joining us and Joe Smith joining us. Of course, Charlie Miller's been along for the ride, and man, it has just been great all day. And I can't think of a better way to have a Friday, boy. This is just, I'm ready. I'm excited.
No, I appreciate it. So for me this weekend, it's pretty amazing as far as longevity, but also I think all today was about relationship. There's a former player I met when I first started coaching. He was in the 7th grade. He's now graduated college. He's getting married this Saturday, so he invited me. So it's like almost like coming full circle. I can only imagine when, the coaches that I had when I was younger, probably, get a text message from me and say, hey, I had my first son, or, hey, I'm about to get married. So to actually celebrate with Addison his marriage is pretty cool. So that's what my wife and I are doing on Saturday. Amongst, again, standing in the gym, and getting my coaching reps, and the players getting their reps too.
Yes, that's what makes life special. I mean, it's special enough to be a part of that person's life, and it could have stopped right there and been very special. But it goes on, and it's a gift that continues to give for you, obviously, and which that's all people can ask for in life.
Well, there's a quote that I may paraphrase, but basically it's, you never know where a teacher's influence will show up in someone's life, right? And you never know where it's going to show up, and it's perpetual. Right? And I think that's all, again, for me, I mean, it's like everything that I hear, it's just related to life lessons, and how can I turn that to a drill? And what's really the emphasis of this drill? It's not really the technique. It's really you're fighting for your life and everything we do. So that to me is always the essence. So we're good. Just to be there to see him come full circle is pretty amazing.
What do you got planned this weekend? I know you're always out and doing something. Let's see, Tim. First of all, Tim asked if he can get some of George's sauce and rub through UPS delivery. I don't know what service they use, but yes, I am fairly certain that you can get it however you want. As a matter of fact, we were talking, and his website is eatooiebarbecue.com. He's revamping it. You may have to wait till Monday, but yeah, you can get everything you need there. So just to let you know that. So, but sorry, if I interrupted you there.
You're good, brother.
But yeah, what weekend plans?
Yeah, just going to actually basketball workouts. Just got back in town, and then also going to one of my former players' weddings. Yeah, that is like I said, just a special thing. And I know it's got to be extraordinarily special to you. I mean that's the whole purpose of what you do. It seems. But you just mentioned, I mean, the relationship could have stopped after one season, which is only 10 weeks. But the relationship went from his 7th grade year to his senior year. And always being a fan of him, supporting, going to his last senior game in high school, being personally invited by him. Hey, I want you to show up and be there. And I made sure I did. And again, that's what it's all about for me. It's a relationship. And knowing that what we're going to experience on Saturday is just amazing. And I told you at my wedding, he actually showed up and he did a rap, and it was a John Wall song, but he infused my name. So, and he sent it to me a couple of days ago as a reminder. So I'm like, I'm not going to return a favor and rap at your wedding. I'm not doing that. But
I wonder if we had that, what that would sound like, John. If I only wish we had that.
Wow,
man! Hey, how old was he?
Addison was my 10th year anniversary was it was April 14th. Addie was probably 12, 13 at best. Yeah, that's 10 years ago.
That's funny, man. And that dude's getting married. And that dude's getting married.
And he's getting married. And yeah, he sent me that clip. So I said, man, I'm not gonna return. I'm not rapping at your wedding, but I can't wait to see
you. Gonna let him down, man?
Oh no, we ain't doing that shit.
Oh come on, look at him. He was.
I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna give him my words of wisdom. I'm gonna let the good Lord hit me with some good words. But I mean, they might rhyme, but I'm not gonna put no. I don't need the beat.
6-year-old white kid got out there and cut a rhyme out, hey, man, and you're gonna get showed up by some kid, 6-year-old man.
Luckily, I'm out of that comparison phase. I love.
I'm kidding. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man.
Oh man,
I couldn't do it either. I was like, man, that's not my.
I mean, he literally.
It's so funny how some kids, because there's not many kids. Period. That would get out there, like my daughter Kylie. I'm like, she would probably scratch my eyes out if I tried to get it push out at that age.
Interesting you say that, because and obviously this is, I can't say obviously, but what he wanted, what he's going to do, and I'm gonna say going, is he wants to be a sports commentator, and I knew that ever since he was young, because there's a show in town. Some local sports guys that his dad went to school. It's called Ben and Skin Show, and they do local radio in Dallas. and they talk all sports Dallas related. And his dad went to school with one of the guys, so Addie knew about that, and Addie would go and watch them in segments and watch shows. So Addie always been outspoken and always been the shortest thing on the court, biggest heart, man. I was always a fan of his, did his best, but that's kind of what he wants to get into. So having that type of gall and risk-taking ability, he's always had that.
And you know what? It shows because it's natural.
Exactly.
Because let me tell you, you can fake stuff as an adult.
Oh, for sure.
You cannot fake a personality at under 10 years old.
That's right.
Because I remember how being so shy, like, oh, there was no way getting that. I look at that and just start laughing. You could not have paid me any amount of money at that age to do that, to just stand out there and talk. Much less stand out there and bust a rap out.
Well, I mean, for him,
he enjoyed it too damn much. He loved it.
To improvise and take out the words and then get the lyrics. I mean, you had to practice. You was ready for that. So that's
he was standing in the mirror. He's a performer. He's a performer.
There you go.
And there are performers in this world, and that's why there just are. I'm looking forward to a great weekend as well. I don't have anything big planned, but just hope it's a fun weekend, and I hope it's just relaxing. Nice out. I hope it's just safe for everybody. Go out and start having some fun. It was good. We've talked about the Indianapolis 500 a lot this week, Charlie. We were off on Monday, but that was like, I know we had the Derby that had 50,000 people, but the Indianapolis 500 seemed to me to be the champagne bottle and popping the cork and just like, we're back.
Right.
Just spraying the champagne everywhere because that sun splashed 135,000 people cheering and roaring. It was just awesome. And I'm ready. It's just it's opening up summer, it seems like.
That's right.
Hopefully.
That's right. Yeah.
No more masks.
Open it back up, man. So, yeah, that was pretty cool because, I mean, even though we were in Texas, we've been open for a while, but it's kind of refreshing to go places and not have to wear your mask, and everyone's a little more relaxed in regards to that. Some places, like I had to go take my rental car back to the airport, still have to do that, totally get that. Kind of different guidelines, but overall, I mean, it's, things are getting back to this new normal, I would say.
I'm trying to make sure we didn't miss anything. Let's see. What's his name? Manziel said he made a healthy living selling autographs when he was in college, but not till after he won the Heisman. We didn't talk about that, but who cares?
Oh yeah. I saw that.
But you know what? Who cares? Now, see, that's another thing. That would have gotten him kicked out of all college athletics. And now you've got every legislator in the world trying to run to make sure that they can do this, to be the name to allows them to do this. When before, it would have gotten them kicked out of all of football. It's nuts.
The thing about this too with him, and again, I don't know him, and this is just saying, like, I bet if it was an interview, he was on, he talked about all these things, that probably was highlighted because of all of the other highlights in his career, right? His illustrious career and that became a thing, which is not common, Jim, with college athletes. Okay, that happens. Whether you're bartering for tickets, for meals, it's not. Okay, yeah, he's Johnny Football, and he probably had people say, hey, I'll give you X amount here, X amount there. That's not anything new under the sun. He made a great living. Who knows what that could have been? That could have just been some weekend money to go hang out. I don't know. I don't think it was life-changing money.
No, but, I don't think it was either. But I'll be honest with you. I don't even care anymore because it's.
That's my whole point. That's kind of where I'm getting at. Like, okay, like, what else is new with you, Johnny? This is kind of why what happened to you happened. You know, so that's cool. You did that, but like no one's shocked. No one. I mean, so you're not taking thunder away from the story, but it's like, yeah, this is kind of why you were doing this every time. I mean, you gave yourself away.
Yep. And now it's going to become commonplace.
Exactly. Oh, and I saw something about, was it a story from a player was seeking $1 million deal? Was that off? There was a college player.
I would not doubt it one bit. I didn't see it, but
there was it was a college player seeking $1 million deal with some company. I don't know if it was social media related, but it was something of that nature.
We talked about earlier, and I don't think it was with Kyle Neddenrip last week. I keep forgetting the name of it, but there is it's basically going to compete with the G League. They're taking
Overtime Elite.
Thank you very much. Seniors, juniors from high school, paying them money, paying them.
Yes. Yeah. And you got to think about where that money is coming from. Overtime is a social media platform. So you got to think they're taking advantage of advertisements, right? So those same advertisements, it's a trickle down effect, right? So it's amazing to say that they can do that, right? That they have that opportunity to actually, go after players. And I just, the thing about it, I question the quality of play. Because I'm not nothing against the LeVar Balls of the world. That quality of play just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. I mean, players, you got to get developed. There's no apology for fundamentals. You're not ready to play pro ball until we know the pros really want you. So that's cool. You got a highlight tape and you got 50,000 people following you. Still doesn't mean you know how to pivot.
Exactly right, man. It has been a great Friday, like I said. Big thanks out to Joe Smith. Also to George Leach, unexpected visit. The only thing he didn't do was leave us some barbecue. And Charlie Miller rounds it out, but we'll have to get some sent through the mail. But we're going to get all that stuff put up online for you at Hoosier.com, where you can get his stuff. So that'll be up there by Monday for sure. But I hope you go out and have a great weekend. Charlie, thank you, man. I appreciate you and your family. I hope you guys go out and have a great weekend. Congratulations and good luck to Aiden this weekend and his marriage. It's an awesome story. And I look forward to doing it. We're back on Monday. I look forward to doing that.
That's right, man. I appreciate it, man. Always. Thank you, guys.
The great Charlie Miller. I'm Jim Coyle. I hope you guys go out and have a great weekend. Without you, there's nothing here for us. But go out and do something nice for somebody. And until Monday, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
All right, fellas. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day, Charlie.